Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. So we're back here at House of Instruction. And if you have been following us for the last few lessons, then you'll notice that I have referenced Jasher, Jubilees, and Enochs,
Mm-hmm.
and they have borne witness to
Yes.
what this law reads.
Yes.
So while I haven't fully gone into those books, I just wanted to attest to their validity when compared with this text.
Yes.
Like when it says the voice of of Abel
Mm-hmm.
from his blood was crying from the ground, it didn't stop crying.
Correct.
So when Enoch gets there,
Mm-hmm.
7 generations later,
It was still crying.
he's like, y'all know Abel's voice is still crying out in heaven
Mm.
until all of Cain's seed is eliminated from the earth?
So that means it's still crying right now.
Right now.
As we speak.
So it's still crying, right? So now you have this testimony, and it's a small detail, but just to show you the intricacy with which I have validated the reasoning to gain the understanding to be able to teach it to you,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Nobody talks about how Enoch actually bore witness to testify so that you would know, right? Because Abel had been dead long time before Enoch come on. And just because the Nephilim line goes down to Nephilim Lamech, right? It doesn't mean that this has anything to do with Adam's line,
Right.
and Adam's Lamech and Adam's Methuselah. Okay?
And you know, as well as, I don't know if anyone else has been paying attention to this, but to have the clear understanding of the conflict between the Nephilim and us is beyond the color of our skin.
Oh, yeah.
But this goes back all the way to the garden of why. So these people are never going to accept you. It has nothing to do with the color of your skin. This is much more deeper
Right.
than that.
And this is a ages long
Generational generations.
problem.
Yes.
Right? So everybody goes to the Nephilim in hopes of attempting to get a leg up,
Right.
to get ahead, right? Now, I'm telling you, we're not dealing with them.
Right. As well as too, brother, when we go back to the account of the judgment in the garden with the serpent and what was said to the serpent, in order for us to win this conflict, we have to be in the law. We have to not just read it, but to live it and walk in it and keep it. That's the only way you're going to defeat them.
Right. So again, you would think that I'm saying I'm being racist when I say I'm talking to my people and I'm talking to my people alone. I'm talking to the Yayadi, right? So if I'm talking to my people alone, right, I cannot do nothing for another people,
Yes.
another nation, until my nation is secure. So until we have our cities, I don't have anything for any other nation. I don't have anything to give you. I don't have what is commanded to offer you for your tribute, for your service, for anything. I don't have anything. So that's why you can't come at this time,
Yes.
right? Oh, the sojourners. Yeah, you have to sojourn on my land, which I don't even
Possess,
possess
yes.
yet.
Yes, there is a time.
There's a time. I have to
Yes.
possess the land for you to abide in it.
As well as it is even specific of who those sojourners are.
Right.
Because it said when Noah said about Canaan with Shem and Japhet, even it stated who exactly is to be part of that sojourn. So it's not for
It's not
everybody.
for everybody. Another thing is there's the law of kings,
Yes.
right? And the law of king is that the king of a people must be served solely by those people. So I don't get to have sojourners and strangers working for me. Only of my people
Yes.
can they come and serve under me, which is why the exchange for the service is so great.
Yes.
Those who serve under me become administrative officials and public servants. They become judges, rulers, police. They become great. This is the exchange
Right.
for the service, right? So you come into my house, you serve under me, you leave my house a prince.
Right. It stays within the brotherhood.
It stays from within here.
Yes.
Okay? So to become that brother, you have to come and you have to work with me. You have to serve. Then what happens? You'll leave, you'll go to your house, and you know what you'll do? You'll send your son. No, 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 no. You have to go into the school with the king
Yes.
because you have to come back and rule here. And this is the best place to get this. And you need to make the connections that's necessary there to come back here. You see, there is an exchange for your service. So I'm not asking you to serve without there being a reward or an exchange for service. There is, right? All the strangers have to do is work for the people. You can come and work for the people. That is established. The people that is established. So if the people don't have their land, they don't have their law, they don't have their implementation, there's nowhere for them to go. So, that being said, we left off yesterday and we were at
Genesis code 10:8.
code number 10:8 and Bereshit, the first ones. Okay? And Cush begat Nimrod. Now, Nimrod, he began to be mighty in sin. Now, what is Nimrod's sin? And to rebel before or in front of Yah and the earth. So now he's taken on another system. He's found another way of doing things. From where he has a source of information from the Nephilim of before the flood of a system that will work and will be implemented. This is the same thing that Enoch talks about.
Yes.
So when Enoch speaks and he says, these many angels were wiped out, right? These many of the angels were wiped out, but they asked that so many be preserved to fulfill the purpose of the Most High upon the earth. Okay? They asked for preservation. This is the same preservation you hear Lamech pray for. How does it come about? Well, we're going to get there in a minute because you're going to figure out how Og and his survival reinstates this line and who was the first to give him a daughter so that he can have children. Somebody has to give this man
Right.
a woman to have children with. Well, let's see. Continue to read.
He was a mighty rebel before Yah. Therefore, it is said, from the day that the world was created, there have not been as Nimrod.
So you have to understand, there has not been ever anyone like Nimrod. Because Nimrod was king, he had taken control of the whole of the earth. Right?
Yes.
So now Nimrod becomes the Adam of wickedness.
Wow.
By force. So it's Nimrod, it's Og. Then you have Noah, Shem, and Japhet off on the side. And what does Japhet do? Because Og is up in his land taking his space, Japhet goes with the flow. He just goes in with it. Like he don't have no choice. Leaving Shem and Noah alone. Well, let's continue.
And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel.
Babel the Great.
The Great, and Hadis,
Uh-huh.
and Netzibin, and Ketispon, in the land of Pontus.
Okay. So you see Babel, he had Babel, Hadass, Netzibin, Ketispon, and Pontos. He had 5 great cities.
Wow.
Right? They're part of the kingdom of Babel, but they were cities because he's taken from different areas, different places. Whose land is this again? Again, this is all in Japhet's land.
Interesting. From the land,
From that land.
From that land went forth Nimrod and reigned in Athor.
So now he goes from this land, from Iran, this Iraq area. He goes from this land in the north. He comes down to the south and he reigns in Athor's land. Athor's land is right in the Sinai Peninsula. Okay? Come watch it. It'll tell you.
Because he would not be in the council of a divided generation. And he left those 4 cities, and Yah thereupon gave him a place, and he builded 4 other cities.
So now you can see he left Babel the Great from Hadass, Nitzibin, Ketzipon, and Pontos. And of course, this is all part of the kingdom of Babel. And now he leaves there, goes down to Athor's land, right? And the Most High gives him a place there. But what does Nimrod refuse to do? He refuses to rule over a divided kingdom. What happened that the kingdom divided? What happened was the Tower of Babel was confounded, and everybody began to divide lands and tongues. It will explain this a little later, but you need to understand that even after Babel fell, Nimrod doesn't die. Nimrod comes down into Tor's land. He comes down into the land of Shem. There is a city that is still named Nimrod to this day. Nimrud. You can look it up. It is still here in the Middle East. This is the city that Nimrod built. So let's take a look at this.
A place, and he builded for other cities. Nineveh,
He builds Nineveh.
Palitha,
He builds Palit,
Kartha,
Kartha,
and Parioth.
and Pariot. So he builds these and Telazar.
Which was builded between Nineveh and Hadith. That is a great city. And Mizraim begot the Nabati.
The Nabati.
Nabati. It's supposed to be a B. Nabati. And the Maroti.
The Marioti.
And the Leviki.
The Libaki, which is Libya.
Wow. And the Pantasini.
Right, and the Pantasine. Right? And the Pathrosim from Pathros. Right? So when you're talking about, oh, John in the Isle of Pathros or Patmos, Patmos and Pathros, this is all African cities from Nimrod. Okay? And the Pathrosim, they got the Neosati and the Palopati, from whom came forth the Philistine. So the Philistines are Egyptian. And the Kadfortiki and Canaan begot Sidon, his firstborn, and Het. Now, Het, you'll find out later what happened with Het from Canaan. But remember that name, it will be important when we go and we start searching the lineage of the family of Saul and who he married into. Okay? So now you see the relationship. This is why Egypt works so heavily with the West Bank and with Gaza, because they are blood.
Wow.
They are the blood. See, this come down from Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim is the founding father of the nation. Egypt is a name later added. So that's why we say Mitzrayim, but his name is West. Okay? So you see the Nibati and the Marioti and the Libaki. So all of these people, you will see them in Egypt, Libya. They from this area and region. Canaan begot Zidon and his firstborn. Zidon is his firstborn, and then Het, right?
Yes.
And the Jebusi, and the Amori, and the Girgashi. So you see, you remember Amorah from Sodom and Gomorrah. Right? And the Hibai, and the Iraki, and the Antosai, and the Lutasai, and the Kompsai, and the Antikoi, and the seed of the Kenai were scattered. Okay? So all of these people, I think it's about 5 or 6 of them, are listed, right, as people we are not to marry into. You see? So you'll see here the Hibai, right? They later you will see them listed as the Hittites. This not the proper pronunciation. They are the Houthis. Okay? And the limit of the Canaanite was from Kotanis up to Gerar, unto Azar, unto Sodom and Amorah, Gomorrah, Admah and Zeboim and Kaldahi, which is the same cities, right? These are the same 5 cities that were destroyed with Lot. You see a pattern here? So what happened? You see these people, they are breeding with the Nephilims, and the Nephilims always show this telltale sign. They promote homosexuality. They promote this nakedness. They promote fornication and adultery. They promote everything against the law of the Most High, because anyone who mix with their Gentile seed become Gentile. There's a difference between being a Gentile and being considered like in a certain situation. So the Most High can consider you like a Gentile, but you are not. You are just living and participating with the Gentile system.
Let me ask you a question, because this is so prevalent amongst our own, and I even have the relatives in my family. When one of us from the Israel seed of the men have children with white women, are their children considered Gentiles?
Yeah, they cannot enter into the congregation.
Wow.
This is why you forbidden from taking seed from them, marrying their daughters, and marrying your daughters to their sons. This forbidden. And this to the Gentile house entirely. That's not the same as dealing with someone from within the Abrahamic covenant. I can take from someone in the Abrahamic covenant. Why? Because of the covenant that was kept. Chiefly take a wife from the house of your fathers. When Abraham is the first one to receive this instruction, he takes the wife from his father's house initially. This is the mistress, this is the head of the household. He later acquires concubines, right?
Yes.
He later acquires concubines. But you have to understand, this Abraham time, you don't know some of the correlating factors, right? When he get Pharaoh's daughter, you don't know who's Pharaoh at the time.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Right.
So when he get Pharaoh at that time is Rekayan. Pharaoh at that time, Rekayan. It's not Set or anybody. It's Rekayan. It's the time of the first Pharaoh. Because before then, Abraham would have dealt with Osiris, who was king.
Yeah, because they had king and pharaoh at that time.
So now he's dealing with Pharaoh and he's dealing with Rekayan. So this is a different situation. So when he received Keturah, who is Hagar, he's still taken from the house of his fathers, hence why she have a covenant. However, the other concubines he received from the war,
Right.
this he just called Arab.
Wow. Wow.
We'll be back.
Wow. Wow.
All right. So continue.
Okay, these are the sons of Ham, according to the seed of their genealogies, after their languages, in the dwelling of their lands, in the kindred of their people.
Okay. So now that the world has become mixed, you know now how to undo the mixing when the time is come. We're not here to take all the land in all the world.
No.
No, here is your land over here by your birthright. You all go here to your land and divide it amongst yourselves. So, under this law of this kingdom, we are not garnering all the land to dictate to somebody that what they do and don't do, this. They have their own choice. But everybody receives their land portion freely. It's not American land and I defend it and I police it. No. You more than capable of doing what you want with your own people on your land. Here's the law. Continue to do right. Enjoy.
And to Shem also was born a son. He is the father of all the sons of the Hebrews.
Oh, so Shem is the father of all the sons of the Hebrews. So everybody who come from Shem was considered Hebiru,
Hebrew.
but they're not called Hebiru in the land.
Yes.
We are called Hashemite
In the house of
from the house of Shem. So Lot beyond Jordan is Lot's land.
yes.
This is Abraham's nephew from Abraham's brother. They're the same family. Lot is Hashemite.
Yes.
Abraham is also
Hashemite.
Hashemite.
Isaac Hashemite.
They all Hashemite. We'll get to that when we get to Exodus, and you see that they call them the Hashemite. We'll get to that.
So that's why here, if you was to say, "Oh, I'm Hebrew," they really don't understand
What you talking
what
about?
you even talking about.
I'm Hashemite. Continue, watch.
He is the father of all the sons of the Hashemites, the brother of Yafet, great in the fear of Yah.
So Shem is great in the fear of Yah. Continue.
The sons of Shem, Elam,
Elim,
and Ator, and Arpachshad,
Arphaxad,
and Lud,
Lud,
and Aram.
Aram. Okay? And Arphaxad begot Salah, and Salah begot Eber, and to Eber were two sons named Peleg, because in his days the earth was divided,
Mm.
and the other named Yoktan.
Yoktan.
Now you have to remember, Peleg, the earth is divided in his days. Who divided it? Noah. So Noah gives the covenant and he makes all of the sons swear, listen, this is the division of the land in which I am giving you by lot. Ham's lot fell to Alikruk and Ethiopia and all those places over there. None of my business. Right? And he got a little bit across the southern border on the south, heading over into the east. So there's a little bit, there's some islands there, Yemen, and it goes a little bit over into some of the Hawaiian, not the Hawaiian, the Lower Asia islands, maybe even Australia. Then Japhet gets his portion, and his portion is all the lands of Europe, right? And Asia, but it doesn't come out of the mountains. They call them the Rafa Mountains over into India, right? But the central corridor that connected both sides, the connect to them all, was given to Sham.
So Sham was in the middle.
He's in the middle. So the Middle East belongs to Sham and to his sons. You see? So when you talk about all the European countries, this Japhet land, when it comes around over the mountains, right? And this to the north is Japhet land. So you're talking Russia and all of that. Over into Asia and China, all of that's Japhet land. Goes around the stands and comes on down into India, dividing India. That's Japhet land. So the Asian portion is to the east, and Shem's portion is to the west from India, divided by the mountains that come up from there. So when you see Elam is right next to Persia.
Wow. So when it says that in his days the earth was divided, it was because that's when Noah divided the land.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Noah did this land division. They don't stay there, right? But there's a curse that Noah promised that would happen in the day that they begin to encroach on each other's lands. Noah said, I've seen this thing, and I'm telling you, when you do it, this is a curse that will come upon you. We are seeing that curse, which comes from Noah, now being pronounced.
Right. And we could read about the dividing the land in the book of Yasher.
You can read about it in the book of Jasher. So again, you can get these books and you can validate what I'm telling you if you wish. I want to continue because I want to finish this book before we get into some Q&A, and maybe I have time to answer your questions and maybe I don't. You know? So here we go. Genesis 10 and 26.
And Yoktan
begat Elmodad, who measured or lined the earth with lines. Right? So the same thing, we call them meridian lines, right? When you can place and court and map out the earth. That was Elmodad first, which is why you'll see like the first maps, they are Arabic. So long before everybody else started navigating, you got Elmodad from the house of Shem.
Also, Elmodad is the one who measured the line. Okay.
So he measured out and he lined the earth. He's also dividing out where the portions are according to what rivers and bodies of water. Okay?
Yeah.
And you'll read about that. Who lined the earth with lines, and Salath, who led forth the waters of the rivers, and Karmesheth, and Jarak, and Harodam, and Uzal, and Dikla, and Oval, and Abu Mail, and Sheba, and Ophir, and Havilah, and Jobab, all of these the sons of Joktan. So all of these worked with Joktan, and you can see they set borders by landmarks of rivers. Right? So he went and drew the lines of the borders. He had the perimeter lines, and so you can, and maps, so you can travel and know this one is here, this one is there. So we have the same thing in our law again, but this time it says that it will be done by the son of Joshua, who will also defeat Gog and Magog. What is the issue that Gog and Magog is coming to fight about? They don't want what they have been given. They want what somebody else has got. I'm telling you what the truth of the matter is. It's not going to be something extra deep.
No.
It's going to be, they on a portion. Remember, Magog have a land portion, right?
That's right.
They'll put them over there. Since you Magog, you're going to be on it. And it's going to reduce from what they have. And what do they do when you start reducing land and telling them, here's your spot?
They're going to want to fight.
They're going to want to fight.
Wow. Wow. And the house of their dwelling was from Misha, by which thou goest up to Sephardi.
It's Sephardi.
A mountain of the east.
The mountain of the east. Now you will know that the Sephardim and the Ashkenazim worship Molech. You'll find this, you can look it up in your King James, that doesn't change from this book. They are still together. They call it Jewish now. They are the Yehudi now, but they still conduct the same worship of Molech. Okay?
Worship Molech. Wow.
Continue.
These are the sons of Shem, according to their houses in the dwelling of their lands, according to the kindred of their people.
Okay.
These are the houses of the sons of Noah, according to their houses in their peoples, and from them are the peoples distinguished in the earth after the deluge. So that goes back to what you're always saying about, do you know your address?
Right.
Because your address is based on the family in which you come from.
So if you come from Shem, you know you're in the Middle East. You're not going to be in Africa today or Alikruk. You're not going to be there. You're not going to be in Europe or Asia in Yafet's land. It's not possible.
And America is the land of the Nephilim, the prison.
The Nephilim prison is over there. Okay, so
Oh, goodness.
continue.
And all the earth was of one language, and one speech, and one counsel.
Okay.
In the holy language spake they, that by which the world had been created at the beginning.
So this first language, right? The first language. If Shem is the father of the Hebrews, what language is Shem speaking?
Arabic.
Arabic, right? But which dialect?
Right, because they're broken down.
Right? You have Shami dialect and Aramite. These are two dialects which come from Shem's land, which come from Shem. There's Shami dialect, and then there's Aramite. And when you talk to anybody who speaks Shami dialect, they tell you the original one, the first one is Aramite.
Which is Aramaic, if you don't understand.
Aramaic. So they have, when you go into the land today, if you are with me, you will hear people and they will tell you which dialect they're using. This is Shami. But if somebody speaks Aramite, from Shami, it is a small adjustment, and they can speak Aramite too. People who speak Shami can communicate with Egyptians. People who speak Shami can communicate with Pakistanis or the Turkish, because the Aramite, the Shami dialect is fluid. It branches into all of them. The words are there. They may not be the common word now, but people know the word that they are talking about. So you have Shami dialect and you have Aramite. Okay? Continue.
And it was while they were journeying from the east that they found a plain in the land of Babel and dwelt there.
Okay, so they came from the east. So they came from Armenia, and then they dwelt in Babel, because what had happened was they're on the way now to their land. From the mountain with Noah, now that's their time to move. And Cain left early, and him and Og done built up all of this because they are rapidly populating. You see? I can give Og my daughters, and he will make children. The children that Og make, I marry my sons and daughters to them. And populate very quickly. Right? Why? You have two different seed now. It's not one. My father cannot take his daughter. We have a law against this. At this time, they can only marry a sister. Their sister. They can only marry their blood sister. And the Most High is not interfering at this time so that the people can come. Right? But with Og, you don't have to marry and wait for a sister.
Right.
You could take these daughters, make children, the children that come from them, the daughters come here, the sons take from daughters, and we make one people.
So all took the children of Ham.
Because Ham left first. After he took the garment, Ham left.
So that's why it's not a peculiar, strange thing seeing some of the children of Ham having blue eyes and wow.
They made one people.
Wow.
So continue.
And they said, a man to his fellow, come, we will cast bricks and put them in the furnace. And they had bricks for stone and slime for cement.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "Come, we will build us a city and a tower, and the head of it shall come to the summit of the heavens.
Mm-hmm.
And we will make us an image for worship on the top of it, and put a sword in his hand to act against the array of war. Before that, we be scattered on the face of the earth."
Okay, so what they fighting against? They fighting against the word of the Most High. They don't want to be broken up. They want to live where they want to live, how they want to live, and conduct themselves accordingly to their own devices. What a brilliant idea to get yourself mollywopped by the Most High. Just do what you want to do. So continue.
And then they built with bricks and cement.
Yeah,
That's
cement.
how houses and stuff are built
Today, ain't
today
nothing
over
changed.
there. Oh my
Nothing's
goodness.
changed. You need bricks and you need cement. Cement not new. It wasn't created in Rome. It wasn't, listen, cement not new.
Right, because over here they use stone
And cement.
and cement.
Okay, continue.
And Yah was revealed to punish them for the work of the city and the tower which the sons of men builded.
Okay, so he was revealed to punish them the same way he is revealed to punish you today. Okay?
And Yah said, "Behold, the people is one, and the language of all of them one. And this they have thought to do, and now they will not be restrained from doing whatever they imagine." And Yah said to the 70 angels, 70.
So now we're placing the 70 angels into when this time was appointed. So when you go to the 70 angels, right?
Yes, sir.
In the book of Deuteronomy, right?
Yes, sir. 70 angels, 70 nations.
See? So the Most High said, so this says, when, past tense, Deuteronomy 32 and 8, when, past tense, the Most High made allotment of the world unto the nations, which proceeded from the sons of Noah. This tells you at that time, when he made this division, in the separation of the writings and languages of the children of men. This is at the Tower of Babel. At that time, the division, he cast the lot among the 70 angels, the princes, to oversee the city. See?
Yes, sir.
So the 70 angels were the princes to oversee the city.
And Yah said to the 70 angels which stand before him, "Come, we will descend, and will there commingle their language, that a man shall not understand the speech of his neighbor."
So not only so each angel is appointed to a prince.
Yes.
And he's telling them, this is what I want to do at this point. It is time for this to come about. Here we are at the second day, and they built up to this point, right? And now let's see what happens.
And the word of Yah was revealed against the city, and with him 70 angels, having reference to 70 nations, each having its own language, and thence the writing of its own hand. And he dispersed them from thence upon the face of all the earth into 70 languages. And one knew not what his neighbor would say, but one slew the other, and they ceased from building the city.
So, read that next line.
Therefore, he called the name of it Babel, because there did the Yah commingle the speech of all the inhabitants of the earth, and from thence did Yah disperse them upon the face of all the earth.
So he co-mingled the languages. He took them, he divided them, he co-mingled them. And let's take a look back at Genesis chapter 1 and let's see what happens on day 2. Okay? So what happened on day 2?
And Yah said, let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate between the waters above and the waters beneath. And Yah made the expanse, upbearing it with 3 fingers between the confines of the heavens and the waters of the ocean, and separated between the waters which were below the expanse and the waters which were above, in the collection or covering of the expanse, and it was so. And Yah called the expanse the heavens, and it was evening, and it was morning the second day.
Okay, so here we are on the second day, and the flood has passed. And now he is lining out the lines of the nations and their borders, and which sea and what divides what, to whom and where. And the waters, it says the waters went up into the heavens. So the steam took some, and the waters went down into the earth, and he had dry land. So where is the lie?
There
There is none. No, you can believe what some other magician tell you, but I'm not here to serve you what a magician wants to tell you. I'm telling you what happened, as it happened, that it happened. I can tell you when it happened too. When I say this is the amount of time from Adam to Noah, I know when the clock started, I know when Noah's clock stopped, and I can pick up from there because there's only a certain amount of allotted time until today. I'm not lying. You can test me if you'd like. Continue doing what you're doing. Continue working with Nephilim. Continue building what you're building with them. And let's see who will stand after the coming destruction. Okay? Now, where we left off?
We're on code 1110.
Okay, let's go right back there.
Ready? Okay. These are the generations of Shem. Shem was a son of 100 years, and he begot Arpachshad 2 years after the deluge. And Shem lived after he had begotten Arpachshad 500 years and begot sons and daughters. Arpachshad lived 35 years and begot Selah. And Arpachshad lived after he begotten Selah 430 years, and begot sons and daughters. And Selah lived 30 years and begot Eber.
Now I want you to understand all of these sons and daughters, why they being skipped? What are we tracking?
The son, the firstborns.
You're tracking firstborns. You're tracking the birthright. So when you talk about the Melchizedek order consists of the firstborn of a virgin, right? The birthright that goes with that. And then, all right. Okay. So the Melchizedek order, we're back. Barry died. The Melchizedek order consists of the birthright, the kingship, and the priesthood. And what you are tracking with this birth line is that order. And that order is for every nation except the sons of Israel, after which it was divided for us alone, making a distinguishment.
Yes, sir.
Okay? So if you talk to an Ishmaelite, this guy can be the sheikh and the imam. It's all together. It's locked. Okay? You talk to Saudi, it's the same. But you talk to the sons of Jacob, it's a different, which is confusing to the rest of the world because what they don't understand the cause for this difference. We function differently. The priesthood functions within the community and it's allocated. We have fixed positions. The birthright has its rights and it has a fixed position. He has his task, his duties, everything that must be done. It is pre-allocated. It is appointed. You see?
Right.
So it's not Judah, the whole nation is the kingship. No. No. It's one house and one family, and there will be one man, and then from that man it will continue on forever. Okay? It will always be one of his sons to sit on the throne at any given time. Not that one man sits on the throne forever. Nobody could bear that burden. But his sons will continually. So we had David. Now from David's line, I have returned. Right? I have taken the seat. There's nobody to get me out. There is none. Nobody can get me out. I have to do something to get myself out. You cannot trick me out. See, there's no deception. It has to be willful. You have to know what you're doing and do it to get out this chair. Okay? And it will continue in this way successively. The steps were written out, pre-recorded. So the Melchizedek order, which the other nations have, is not ours. America is run by Nephilim, who also have this same type of order. They have a birthright, they carry in their birthright and their teachings from their family lines. Deuteronomy 28, right? These curses for disobeying the law is because you're living under the people under the curse of Cain.
Right.
This is how the people who are outside of the Most High's instruction live. So if you want to be with them, you think theirs is so great. let me show you how it feels to be under their curse with them.
Right.
And they enforce it extra hard upon you because they have no redemption.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I sure do, sir.
All right. Give me 1 second, then I'm going to have you continue reading.
Mm-hmm. You know, that's like when we were reading the law and you were sharing about Joshua coming from Ephraim.
Mm-hmm.
And so the birthright is in Ephraim.
And it stays there.
And it stays there. It doesn't go
Can't get it out.
anywhere else. Then when we see the priesthood, we see the families of priests, but only Aaron's seed is the high priesthood,
Right.
his
So
sons.
if you look at the priesthood, right, is if people don't understand this, right? So each one is allocated their jobs,
their service.
in the tabernacles and their offices of services and their jobs in the community, in civil matters and civil issues. Not that other people are not there with them,
Right.
but this is what they do.
Right. Right. The priesthood is pretty much what you'll call the civil servant
All your civil service department,
Yeah.
medicine, everything is there.
Yes.
Inspection,
Yes.
building inspect, all the technicalities of what you need is going to be in this.
Right, right. What we see like the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Civil Services,
They're gonna
priesthood
be,
and whoever
they're going to
else.
be in all the ministries
Yeah.
and all the administrations.
Mm.
But again, they are working with everyone in the tribe, but they just always in administrative. This
Right.
is where they are.
Mm.
You know, you don't like it. I don't care. You don't like it. But this is where they sit.
Yes.
They have a purpose and an assignment in this. This is where they will be. And the law allocates that to them.
Yes.
Now, in having these positions, they lose land.
Right. Wow. Mm.
So you can't have this and land and no. This is this. This is the land is for people. They have work. They have things to do. The Most High does not give out monopolies. We don't even have that. It's not even like in our. It's not even in our vocabulary. Like the first person to open up a bakery has all the bakeries, but I can bake too.
Right.
Even I bake better than them.
Right.
You might as well just go and bake then. Bake. Ain't no monopolies. Like we don't have the same Nephilic system. Right? The Babylonian system was Nephilic in nature because Ham and Og work together. Og could read the text that was found in the caves. So Og helped them implement it. Okay?
Wow.
All right, continue. Go ahead.
And we're at code 1121. Okay, and Reud lived after he had begotten Sarug 207 years and begot sons and daughters.
Right.
And Sarug lived 30 years and begot Nahor. And Sarug lived after he had begotten Nahor 200 years and begot sons and daughters.
Yep.
And Nahor lived 29 years and begot Terah. And Nahor lived after he had begotten Terah 116 years, and begot sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years and begot Abram and
Look at say
Nahor,
Abram.
Abram, Nahor, and Haran.
So Abram, Nahor, and Haran. So here we are with Terah, right? And then it becomes important because this clan, this tribe, Terah being, it consists of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran died, so Lot take the birthright,
Mm-hmm.
right? They are all considered Hashemi, but the tribe, they call themselves Terah B'in, sons of Terah.
Mm.
Okay? You don't want to accept it? Nobody cares. I'm telling you the truth. So now you know about Terah, and this becomes the foundation of the story.
Right.
Okay? Now we need to know what happens with Abram, what happens with Nahor, who is the father of Laban, who is Bileam or Balaam, right? And we need to know what happens with
Haran.
Haran, who is the father of Lot. So
Okay.
let's find out.
These are the generation of Terah. Terah begot Abram,
Mm-hmm.
Nahor, and Haran.
Mm-hmm.
And Haran begot Lut.
Mm-hmm.
And it was when Nimrod had cast Abram into the furnace of fire.
So Abram was the one cast into the furnace of fire, right? It's Abram. It's not Daniel. Okay? It's Abram.
Because he would not worship his idol.
Okay?
And the fire had no power to
Nope.
burn him. That Haran's heart became doubtful, saying, if Nimrod overcome, I will be on his side.
All right, so he ride the fence. If Nimrod overcome, I'm on Nimrod's side. And
But if Abraham overcome,
if Abram overcomes,
I
I'll be
will
on
be.
side with Abram.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so he riding the fence.
Mm.
All right, so let's see what happens when you ride the fence.
And when all the people who were there saw that the fire had no power over Abram, they said in their hearts, is not Haran, the brother of Abram, full of divinations and charms? And has he not uttered spells over the fire that it should not burn his brother? Immediately.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Oh, let that sit.
You gotta look. Abraham goes into the fire, he comes out. Haran is looking on, and he's like, if Abraham overcome, I'm with Abraham. But if Nimrod overcome, I'm with Nimrod. Abraham gets out, and the people start talking. Once the people start talking and they start saying that Haran, this is by the power of Haran, the idol priest now, right?
Mm-hmm.
That this the idol one. This not Abraham's and Abraham's God. He was on the fence about it. The idol now, he want to give credit to the idol about what the Most High has done, and the people are saying that it was the magic of Haran and the power of Haran that immediately, out of hand, Minyad, go ahead.
Immediately, Minyard out of hand, there fell fire from the high heavens.
So they threw from high heaven a hot coal. Here, Haran, this by you power. Yeah, you the people talking. I'll show them you have no power. The Most High does not share. There's nobody to the right or to the left.
And Haran died in the sight of Terah his father, where he was burned in the land of his nativity.
So in the land that he was born, they called it now Haran, and he died right there. And his father was watching when the fire fell from the Most High and burnt him to a crisp. And the father made all them idols. He made them. And none of them saved his son. This your punishment for teaching your son this wickedness for money. Go ahead.
In the furnace of fire, which the
The Hasidim.
Hasidi had made for Abram his brother.
So the Hasidic people, they made a furnace to burn Abraham. Now they walk around claiming that they converted to his religion.
And they building a furnace right there for you who don't want to leave.
You're going to get this. Don't worry. Continues, Genesis 11:29.
And Abram and Nahor took to them wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarah. And the name of the wife of Nahor, Milcah, the daughter of Haran. The father of Milcah and the father of Iscah, who is Sarah.
Okay, so Nahor got first choice and he got Milcah. Abram gets second choice and he got Iscah, whose name was changed to Sarah.
And Sarah was barren. She had no child.
So Sarah ain't got no kids.
And Terah took Abram his son, and Lut, Haran,
So Lut, whom you guys call Lot, the son of Haran, Bar Haran,
the son of his son,
his grandson,
and his daughter-in-law,
and the daughter-in-law,
Sarah, the wife of Abram his son, and went forth with them from Ura, or of the Hasdi.
the Hasidi. So order of the Hasidi. So this order is Europe. So they left from there and they come down south from order of the Hasidi to go to the land of Canaan, and they came to Haran. This is Haran in Turkey.
Shall I put that?
You can go look it up, right? Turkey is one of their sites. They treasure it. This have deep historical value, right? And the Hasidic people, where you see the furnaces and all that happened, it was there in Turkey. All right?
In a room. Wow. And the days of Terah were 205 years. And Terah died in Haran.
So Terah died in Haran, Turkey. Now you understand. You see this? This is the truth. This is where Terah died. So he see his son die, and he died. This is the end of this. The Terah and Haran. Moving forward.
And Yahweh said to Abram, go thou from thy land, separate yourself from thy kindred, go forth from the house of your father, go into the land which I will show thee.
Now, pay attention. You notice a trend here. So the Most High, after Terah dies, right? Because Abraham is honoring his father, that he tell him, now go. There's nothing else holding you here. I need you to go to the land which I will show you. Separate yourself from your kindred, from your brethren and your family members, and go forth from the house of thy father
Bless
and
you.
go to the land which I will show thee to show you. Right? And now let's listen to the covenant that the Most High makes with Abraham. Because here you have another covenant.
And I will make you a great people and will bless you and magnify your name, and you shall be blessed. And I will bless the priests who will spread forth their hands in prayer, and bless your sons.
See, so he's telling you already, I'm going to bless the priests who spread forth their hands in prayer to bless your sons. So, like I said before, the birthright, the kingship, and the priesthood is present in Abraham from his seed. Okay? We're going to see it later, but the Most High is talking about a specific set of sons. But let's see, which sons is he talking about? Continue.
And Balaam,
And Bileam or Balaam or Laban,
who will curse them, I will curse, and they shall slay him with the mouth of the sword, and in thee shall be blessed all the generations of the earth.
so this is a covenant. So
Yes.
now it is promised, listen, this guy is going to curse them. How does Balak curse the children of Israel? Because Balak doesn't curse them. He curses you by the counsel that he gives to draw you into an accursed state. I'm going to say it again. He gave counsel on how to honeypot you to get you into a cursed state, which is where we are today. Okay? Have them go out, meet women, and the women can worship whatever idol you want. As long as she caters to that man, he'll stay with her, and their God will turn against them because I told them not to join themselves with those women. This is really basic.
Pretty much.
All right, and you'll find this. This is all in Numbers. Numbers chapters 22 through 24. And then you continue to read on to when how they killed Balaam with the sword. You see? Continue.
And Abram went according as Yah had spoken with him, and Lot went with him.
So Abraham and Lot left.
And Abram was the son of 75 years at his going forth from Haran.
So he's 75 when he leaves. Continue.
And Abram took Sarah his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all the substance which he had acquired.
So he took everything he got. Everything I've gotten, all the substance of my house, we leaving. This is a one-way trip.
And the souls whom they had proselyted in Haran.
So there were people who came and said, I want to learn about what Abraham's talking about, because Abraham is talking something different from everybody else. It is Abraham alone. So now, in this shorter span of time, you go from Noah to Shem. Comes down the line, it comes to Abraham, and the Most High renews the covenant with Abraham after the Tower of Babel and its tragedy. And now Abraham begins to draw people to him and teach them and go forward. What else happens?
And went forth to go in the land of Canaan.
Canaan. Okay.
And they came to the land of Canaan. And Abram passed through the land unto the place of Shechem.
So he's passing through the land unto the place of Shechem. This is Nablus. This is Hebron. So, okay, so he comes to this place, right? And what happens?
Unto the plain on which he had been shown, and the Canaanites were then in the land.
The Canaanites were in the land.
For the time had not yet come that the sons of Israel should possess it.
So the Canaanites were in the land because the time had not come for us to possess it. Now, we're supposed to be talking about Abraham.
Yes.
And the Most High is steady talking about two different times.
Yes.
Right? So when I went to the land, yeah, they there. There's Canaanites there. You know, the you have a lot of people there. You got the Amalekites is there. You got all these people there. The Hasidim is there. All these people is there in the land. Right? All right, but the time not yet come for us to take that possession. The Most High have to dispossess them in order for us to possess it. We'll be right back after this. All righty, continuing onward.
And Yah was revealed unto Abram and said, to thy sons.
Here's another covenant.
Another covenant.
See, I just want you to listen. You guys are going to learn from me. When it says Shavuot or Sabbath or Shabbatot, you're going to see all these little covenants. The Most High is not talking in vain.
No.
So you're going to learn today. Go ahead. To thy sons.
And to, okay. And Yah was real and said, to thy sons will I give this land. And he builded there an altar before Yah, who was revealed to him.
So he built there an altar, says, I'm going to give this to your son. So he built an altar there, blessed the name of the Most High, fed his people, and
he went up from thence.
And he went up from there
to a mountain.
To a mountain.
Which was eastward of Bethel.
So he went eastward of Bethel or Bethel, which is the house of Allah. Bethel today, which was Jerusalem, modern Jerusalem. He went east to here, and he spread his tent, having Bethel on the west, which is where it is now in our position, and Ai on the east, which is Eid or Ai on the east, which is east of here. And he builded there an altar before Yah and prayed in the name of Yah. And we are here right now in this area. Right now. Right. I can go 5 minutes from here and go to the overlook and see the plain of Nablus. It's right here. Am I lying?
Nope.
And then you can go to the other side, and there's AI on the other side. So he outspread his tent here. Okay? And prayed here.
Alhamdulillah.
And from here, from this spot, let's see what Abraham does.
And Abram migrated, going and migrating unto the south.
So he migrates south. Where is he going? He's going down to Madaba and the Mountain of Olives, which is down there, which is a great place for growing olives, a lot of olive fields, a lot of olive farms. Then he crosses over at the Dead Sea, which is really the brook of Kidron, and he comes up the Mount of Jerusalem. But it's Jebusi Jerusalem in that time. He's coming up that area there. Okay? He's down in the south in the Negev. Go ahead.
And there was a famine in the
So
land.
there's a famine. Ain't no food. Can't stay. We just got here. Nobody made any preparations for any food. There's a famine. We don't have nothing to live off of. Continue.
And Abram went down into
So
Mizraim
he's going down into Egypt because of the famine in the land, which happens.
to be a dweller there, because the famine was strong in the land. And it was as he approached to enter the limit of Mizraim, and they had come to the river, and were uncovering their flesh to pass over, that Abram said to Sarah, his wife, Behold, until this I have not beheld thy flesh, but now I know that thou art a woman of fair aspect.
So Abraham, he got this wife, and she's always covered, right? She's wearing the traditional clothing of the time. She has the full mask and burqa coming down into the desert, and she's journeying down, and she's always covered. She get undressed. It's nighttime, and the tent is dark.
So he doesn't
He
see.
ain't never seen her until this moment. We have to cross this water. We cannot cross it with all of these clothes on. He sees her and goes, Woman!
Wait a minute.
All right. Ooh. We going over here with these heathens, we might have a problem.
It will be, therefore, when the Mizraim see thee and view your beauty, that they will say, This is his wife, and they will kill me, and you will keep alive. Say, I pray, that you art my sister, and it may be well with me for your sake, and that my life may be spared on your account.
So Abraham is like, listen, I've heard the rumor of these people, they taking all the beautiful women. Now, I didn't know you was this fine. And I know when we get down here, they gonna kill me and keep you alive. Now hold on a minute. I'ma live too. If they do this to me, say you my sister, and go and whatever happens to you, you alive, and I'ma be alive and keep this promise that I received from my God. I'm not trying to die. I want to see this.
Yes.
So through no foolishness, I'm not going to die for you.
Right.
If they want you and they take you,
So be it.
just go. And spare my life on your account. This is how you will save my life.
And this was an act of protection.
Right. This is an act of mercy. It's an act of wisdom.
Right.
Hey, listen. Whoa. Don't kill me. I got a covenant to keep. Okay? You want to go? This is the woman. You go. I pray maybe the Most High deliver you back someday. I cannot end the story right here.
So this ideology that a lot of women have in regards of, their husband's supposed to give their lives for them.
Listen,
No.
the covenant with the man and his seed.
Not you.
It's not until you receive your covenant. And you know, because you receive your covenant based upon the man's covenant and his seed. So the children of the women of Israel, right, the daughters of Zion, who go out and get strange seed, cut themselves off from the covenant. Because the covenant that you receive all your promises is determined by the man of Israel that you join unto. So if you join into a man of Judah, all of the promises on him from his seed, based upon his obedience, that gets fulfilled in your womb. You bring that to life. However, if you put death in your womb, this was your choice. So now you negate any promises from bringing forth righteous seed because you have killed your womb with the seed of the stranger. See? So the covenant with Abraham is not with Sarah.
No.
Sarah has to be with Abraham
To receive
the covenant that she gets. The
Right.
same thing with Hagar, who is Keturah. No. My covenant with him, it's for those that come unto him. It don't go out like this.
Right.
Well, I'm blessed. No, you are not.
But don't worry. I had to learn that too. Yes.
Blessings come from obedience. And the obedience comes from following the law and its instructions from the teacher of the law, not from the stranger, not from your inclination, not from your dream, not from nothing. Okay? So no matter what happens, you never get off of step one until you achieve step one. Continue.
And it was when Abram had entered Mizraim. The Mitzray saw the woman to be very fair. And the princes of Pharaoh beheld her and praised her to Pharaoh. And the woman was conducted to the royal house of Pharaoh. And Pharaoh did good to Abram for her sake. And he had sheep and oxen and asses and servants and handmaids and she asses and camels.
Okay. So now Pharaoh is like, okay, I take your sister to marry. And he gets all of this stuff for Sarah in exchange. What happened? He makes her a very high price, thinking Pharaoh will not accept having all of these concubines. And Pharaoh says, all that you ask, take.
That's the favor. That's the favor.
And Abraham is like, well, I'm not dying, so I'll take all of this stuff. And, okay, sister, you have to go. He don't want to lose his wife, but he has exercised wisdom. He has played the game.
Yes.
Okay?
Because the covenant meant more to him.
Keep being alive.
Yeah.
Meant a lot to him. He didn't want to die for her and she go to him for free.
Right.
No. Wait a minute. What you mean I die, you take my wife for free? No. This covenant depends on me having a son and being alive. I need to go have these children and remain alive.
Right.
Besides, I got my brother, I'm responsible for him, and I have these other people, and I'm responsible for them. I'm not doing it.
Right.
You can go.
So,
So she goes. What's next?
and the word of Yah sent great plagues against Pharaoh and the men of his house on account of Sarah, Abram's wife.
So he sent plagues to not only Pharaoh, but through Pharaoh's house. Now you're hearing this for the first time, and it's like, okay, the first time they went down here, the Most High plagued him with plagues and everything, and Abraham, he's leaving. The second time, the same people come down, right? The same ones. They go right back down, and Joseph set up for them again, and then they do the same thing again. What? We're not talking about the children of Israel going to Egypt, this Abraham. But the same way, the same pattern, same time, always the same.
Right, nothing new under the sun.
Okay, so continue.
And Pharaoh called Abram and said, what is this that thou hast done to me?
Okay, so now Pharaoh is like, what have you done to me? Okay.
What sayest thou, she is my sister, when I will take her to me to wife? Plagues were at once sent against me, and I went not unto her. And now, behold, your wife, take her and go.
Pharaoh said, why have you done this to me? I took her to wife, I gave you all the money and everything, and at once all these plagues have come unto me. I have not lied with her. Here she is. Take her and get out of my country.
Right? Because he knew it was related because of her, because that's when it happened, when he got her. And Pharaoh commanded men concerning him, and they led him forth and his wife and all that he had. And Abram went up from Mitzrayim, he and his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him to go to the south. And Abram had become very strong in cattle, in silver, and in gold. And he proceeded in his journeyings from the south unto Bethel, and returned to the place where he had outspread his tabernacle at the first, between Bethel and Ai.
Ai or E. So let's take a look at this. So Abraham now goes out of Egypt with all of this new stuff to establish himself. And he comes right back to this location right here. Right here.
Yeah.
He could have went anywhere. He come back right here. Okay? Here.
Yeah. He gets wealth and he comes here.
Comes right here.
Yeah. Did it with the fire.
He said, I went to the place I started before. It was a good spot.
Yeah.
With this, I can start. I'll go there.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right here. Yeah.
And you guys think it's going to be something different. We're going to go out and do. Yeah. There's a structure to the plan, but let's see where we get it. Continue.
To the place of the altar which he had made there at the beginning, and Abram prayed there in the name of Yah. And also unto Lot, who was remembered through the righteousness of Abram, there were sheep and oxen and tents.
So they were sheep, oxen,
and
tents, right? And what happened?
And the land could not sustain them to dwell together, because their possessions were great, and they were not able to dwell together.
So they at this location, and they were not able to dwell together because the possession had become too great. So if one is lesser and one is greater, they fine.
Right, but if they're both
But
great,
if they both great, you have a problem.
right.
So what happened?
And contentions arose between the shepherds of Abram's flock and the shepherds of the flocks of Lut. For the shepherds of Abram had been instructed by him not to go among the Canaanite.
And the Pharisees. The Pharisees. Abraham dealing with the Pharisees. The Pharisees is not Israelite. But he's telling them, listen, don't go over there amongst these people, the Canaanite.
Right.
Okay? And don't go among the Pharisees. Okay? And you had to say, just don't disturb them.
Right.
Right? We building ourselves here. It's time for building. And so now it's not Abraham and Lot having a discussion. It's the shepherds. It's the workers.
Right. That's having the problem.
Okay, so how do we come to this?
Who as yet had power in the land, and to restrain the cattle, that they should make no depredation in going.
So depredation, an act of attacking or plundering. So they didn't want no fighting, right? No attacking and no plundering.
No attacking. No plundering.
So they wanted to restrain the cattle and go into the place of their pastures, but shepherds of Lot would go and feed in the grounds of the Canaanite and the Pharisees who yet dwelled in the land. So this is an issue. So Lot is like, look, there's good land over there. I'm gonna just use it. I'm gonna use it. Abraham saying, no, stay from them. They're going to become a problem later. You'll see, right? So let's see what Abraham says.
And Abram says to the Lord, between me and thee, let there not now be controversy.
So let's not make any conflict between us. Okay? You like going over there dealing with these people. It's causing a problem. I'm not going over there to deal with them, and I'm not going to let this be a problem between us. Okay?
Same stance you're standing on now.
No, don't. You can't tell these people nothing. Keep going.
Nor between my shepherds and your shepherds. For we are brother men.
We are brothers.
Yes, family.
Why? I don't make this conflict with you like this. No. We brothers. Okay? And then he said, is not all the land before thee? Separate then from me. If thou to go to the north, I'll go to the south. If thou go to the south, I will go to the north.
And Lot uplifted his eyes towards the place of fornication.
And he lifted to the what place?
His eyes towards the place of fornication.
Well, There's this little place over here.
Oh, goodness. And beheld all the plain of Jardina,
Of Jordan.
that it was altogether well watered,
Uh-huh.
before Yah in his wrath had destroyed Sodom and Amorah.
So before the Most High destroyed any place on this side, he was like, it was beautiful and green and there's water everywhere. And he said what? A land with,
Okay, a land admirable for trees, as the garden of Yah, and for fruitage as the land of Mizraim, as thou goest up to Zoar. And Lot chose to him all the plains of Jardina, and Lot journeyed from the east, and they separated the one man from his brother.
okay.
Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelt in the towns of the plain, and spread his tabernacle towards Sodom.
So Abram said, okay, this is what you're taking. I will go now on the other side. Right? This is now, I'll go back over toward Shechem and Nablus and I'll settle there, but I'll set my tent in the position that I could overlook you. I could see you. Okay?
Wow. And Yah said to Abram, after that, no, okay. And the men of Sodom were depraved in their wealth, one with another.
So they were, first of all, wicked with wealth. They did wicked things with it. You know, they going around human trafficking, they buying people, they bribing each other. Everything is for sale, usury. Everything is a profit. Money, 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 money. They depraved. They worship money. All right? Let me check my time, see if we're coming back after this. So they are, one, depraved in their wealth. We're back, as you can clearly see. They are depraved with their wealth. So now in our law, it clearly gives us an instruction for us to have the dedicated service of all our wealth. So it tells us have our wealth, how to build it, and then what to invest in and what to give it towards. And it's not the stock market.
No.
So if we need to buy land as a community, this is not a depraved thing to have wealth invested in. Buying a whole bunch of cars and a whole bunch of stuff and all these women and whoring and fornicating, that's depraved with your wealth. So let's see what else you're going to do.
And they sinned in their bodies.
Oh, and see? So misappropriating funds or misusing money, right? Usury and profiting and, profiteering, the stuff that they do. And nakedness in their bodies.
Yes.
Right?
They sin with open nakedness.
Open nakedness is a sin.
And the shedding of innocent blood.
Shedding of innocent blood is a sin.
And practice strange worship.
Strange worship is a sin.
And rebel greatly against the name of Yah.
So they rebelled greatly against the name of the Most High and not keeping any of the laws or instructions which had been given unto Noah, unto Shem, and now reiterated with Abraham. Now they will find until Abraham showed up. So let's see what happens.
You know, brother, we get caught up with because we see how strong homosexuality is over in the West, and we relate just that to Sodom.
But you have all the other
But
stuff.
you got all this other stuff. That whole entire system is this right here.
Now, you see what I've been saying. I've been saying that the whole time. It's not just these little line items. The entirety of the system is geared towards this for it to be successful. The entirety of the system, the fact that you are in it, you are in sin.
Right, because don't it say in the law that when you're in there and you turn a blind eye, you still a partaker. By you still remaining there,
Exactly.
you are still a
And
partaker, and you're guilty.
There's no way to change them. They're just going to die.
Right.
See? So the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah is getting ready to come upon you. Abram is here.
And they think them getting on social media complaining about the stuff they're doing, that you're doing something. You are just as guilty by remaining and staying than you sitting there getting on social media complaining with your words and have no action behind you to make a difference. Wow. Okay. And Yah said to Abram, after that Lot had separated from him, lift up now thine eyes and look from the place where you art, to the north and to the south, and to the east and to the west. For all the land that you seeth will I give unto thee and to thy sons forever.
So that's a will. Okay, that's a covenant. So let's see how it play out.
So that's another covenant. I'm making note of all the covenants. Okay. And I will make your sons manifold as the dust of the earth, as it is impossible for a man to number the dust of the earth, so also it shall be impossible to number your sons.
So according to this promise, you'll be like the dust of the earth. And we've arrived. We all over everywhere, like dust.
And that is all of Abraham's sons, right?
Well, because they traveled. You have Arabs everywhere.
Where?
They everywhere.
So
not just you talk about, the people from the slave trade or black people, but they everywhere.
Right. I mean, if they're in your neighborhood, they're among family.
Right.
That's why they're in your neighborhood. They're with family. Your family. Oh, goodness.
So now what does the Most High tell Abraham to do? Because he just promised that he was going to give them the land.
Yes. Arise, journey in the land, and make occupation of it in length and breadth, for to thee will I give it.
So now he tells him, take a possession, go make an occupation.
Yeah, that's what they say, taking possession.
Okay.
And Abram stretched his tent and made folds for oxen and sheep, and came and dwelled in the vale of Mamre, which is in Hebron, and builded there an altar before Yah.
So the vale of Mamre is in Hebron. This is where Abraham make his altar. Another covenant.
Another covenant. Okay, yes, sir.
Well, that's with that.
Okay, that's all
So there's
together.
a covenant, and then there's a sacrifice of the covenant,
Covenant.
which is received.
And it was in the days of Amraphel.
Yes, Amraphel.
Amraphel.
He is Nimrod.
He is Nimrod, who commanded Abram to be cast into the furnace. He was then king of Pontus.
Now we read about that.
Yeah, we read that. Arioch, so called, because he was
Arik. He was tall.
tall among the giants.
Right?
King of Thalasar.
Right? King of Thalasar is Kedorlaomer.
Kedorlaomer, so called, because he had bound himself or gone over among the bondmen of the king of Elam. And Tidal, crafty as a fox.
Now, Tidal was a giant. He was one of the sons of Og. So Kedorlaomer and Tidal, these are Og's children. These are Nephilim.
So, to be clear, they were giants as far as literal the children of Og that were actually tall giants, correct?
Well, the one thing I say, they can be tall, they cannot be tall, but these are, again, Nephilim. So you can say they're giants, they're king, they have their people, they have power, they have possession of the land. They're here before Abraham.
So when it says here, Nimrod was tall among the giants, it just means his power.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like America is tall among the giants or the great nations today.
Okay. King of the peoples subjected to him.
So he's king of those people. Continue.
And made war with Bera.
Yeah, with
Bera, whose deeds were evil. King of Sodom. And with Bersha.
Bersha.
Whose deeds were with the wicked. King of Amorah. Sinab, who had hated his father, king of Admah, and Shemebar, who had corrupted himself with fornication, king of Zeboam, and the king of the city which consumed Bela, the dwellers thereof, which is Zor. All these were joined in the vale of the gardens, Paradisia.
The paradise.
The place that produced the streamlets of water that emptied themselves into the sea of salt. 12 years they had served
Kedorlaomer.
And in the 13th year they had rebelled. And in the 14th year came Kedorlaomer and the kings who were with him and smote the giants.
So now you're hearing that Kedorlaomer, after he came and he worked with the Nephilims to gain power, he rose up and he kicked them out.
Wow. Jaboria, which were in Ashtaroth.
Now, Ashtaroth, Kanyan. So, in the place where they worship Easter, Ashtaroth.
Wow.
Right? The same place. This was named after Easter, right? This Nimrod's wife, the city that he built. And the strong who were in Hamathia, and the terrible who were in the plain of Kiriathaim, and the Kori, the cave dwellers, Kori is cave dwellers, who were in the high mountains of Begala unto the valley of Faran, which is near upon the edge of the desert.
Desert.
So they tell you
Where?
everything is happening, and I tell you exactly where. Today, this called Saudi Arabia. So all of this conflict is coming, and it's at the edge of the desert, because in that time, Saudi green.
And they returned and came to the place where was rendered the judgment of Musa the prophet, to the fountain of the waters of strife,
Which is
Jizrechem. And they smote all the fields of the Amaleki, and also the Emori,
who
dwelt in En-gedi.
So now
En-gedi.
they are telling you, right? This place is this. It's also called Rekia. So when they had this battle is here at the waters of contention. This other place here is also the Amori, and they dwelt in the caves over in Ein Gedi. What is this? What is this doing? It's refamiliarizing both us and the children of Israel when they came out with Moses of the landmarks of the land and where things are situated. It tells you again, you have to start here and journey south. The preparation in the south is because I went into the land just like Abraham did. First, seeing that it was already occupied and who it was occupied by. I still make connections with the family and the tribes there that are of my blood. But we as a people have to start here and then journey
Down there.
south.
So basically, all we're doing is been doing all the time is retracing steps.
You have to retrace the steps. You cannot know where you are and what you are doing without retracing the steps. It is mandatory you retrace the steps.
That which was in the beginning and at the end, and that which is
That was in the beginning. You have to retrace the steps. So for the last 8 years, I have retraced the steps. Now I have to do it with you.
And the king of Sodom, and the king of Amorah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Zeboim, and the king of the city which consumed its inhabitants, which is Zor, went forth and set the array of battle against them in the valley of the gardens.
Okay, so now the Valley of the Gardens, right? They call it just Jordan Valley. Okay, so they saying that they went to set themselves to fight here. Okay, the Valley of the Gardens, and it's food growing in the gardens. It's not a flower garden.
Right.
Okay, there's food there. And they're saying, well, we're going to fight here. It's a plain, so they pick the area and they go into fight there.
With, say that word again.
With Kedorlaomer,
King of Elam, and Tidal, king of the nations, obedient to him.
Why are they not mentioning these? Because they are Nephilic. And it is forbidden to keep the lineage of the Nephilim. So this is a son of Og. He is not related by any means to the 70 nations which the Most High set forth from Shem, which are to have part in the kingdom. You see?
Pharaoh, king of Pontus, and Arioch, king of Telassar,
Belisar
Belisar, 4 kings arrayed in battle against 5.
So you have 4 kings on one side and 5 kings on the other. Sound like World War III.
Sound just like it.
Sound like World War III to me. So World War One, same. World War Two, same. Here, World War Three, same. In Abraham time, it's the same. And Abraham was parked up right where I'm sitting. So when I tell you this is a World War Three, I mean it's a World War Three, and you need to pay attention to your king, all foolish nation.
And the valley of the gardens had many pits filled with bitumen, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled away and fell there, and they who were left fled to the mountains.
Okay, so the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah lost the war. So the capital of Sodom and Gomorrah lose this war coming, World War III. Them and Europe and the occupier, this land here. Okay, we back. So it's the same thing. So these people got to get put out. The war is coming, and it's the same sides, right? Now you have UK, Europe, America, and this side. On this side, you have Russia. You have now Iran and India and China, and everybody wants this America to come down. All right, same thing happened, and Abraham was sitting here. Well, he actually is a little more over that side because the conflict between him and Luke.
Right.
But same thing, the Most High is again showing him this vision, and it's the same condition we in today.
Sure is.
Let's take a look.
And they took all the property of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their food and went.
So now they defeated them and took all their stuff.
And they made captive Lut, the son of Abram's brother, and his property, and went. And he had dwelt in Sodom.
So now they took Lot captive, and they made him and took his property, and now he's living in Sodom after they lose the war.
And Og came.
Now Og. You don't know Og. Let's find out. Who is Og?
Who had been spared from the giants that died in the deluge.
Oh, he was spared from the giants who died in the flood.
And had ridden protected upon the top of the ark.
So he rode
On the ark.
protected on the ark.
And sustained with food by Noah.
And Noah
Fed
him and sustained him with food. So yes, one white man get on the boat.
That's why they ain't afraid to tell the story about Noah. Not being spared through high righteousness.
Okay, not being spared because he had any amount of righteousness. So remember how Lamech of the seed of Cain had a covenant for 77 generations?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Right? Because this is the same time as Noah. Now Noah gets on the ark, and now get on the ark. This from Lamech. Here's the continuation of their seed.
but that the inhabitants of the world might see the power of Yah and say, were there not giants who in the first times rebelled against Yah of the world and perished from the earth? But when these kings made war, behold, Og, who was with them,
Og, who was with them. So now everybody's like, they were giants? Weren't they giants? You asking these giant questions? You live with them. You see now who they are. It's these same people. The napkin folk, the non-melanated, the people always looking to go into space, the final frontier. These people.
said in his heart,
Now Og is talking, and this is what Og says in his heart.
I will go and show Abram concerning Lot, who is led captive, that he may come and deliver him from the hands of the kings into whose hands he has been delivered. And he arose and came upon the eve of the day of the Pascha.
So the day of the Pascha or the Passover, right? And he comes on the eve of it, and he what?
Found him making the unleavened cakes. Then showed he to Abram the Hebrew,
So it's Og,
who
the
called
Nephilim, calling Abraham a Hebrew, not Abraham not Abraham calling himself a Hebrew.
right. So
So when I told you in Babylon, they said they called them the Hebrew. This comes from Og. This comes from the Nephilim. It's a Nephilim title, like nigger. This is not my race. This is not my affiliation. This is not my descendant. I have no nigger grandfather. Then you want to come all the way over here to this Middle East and talk about Hebrew, 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 and nobody know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
so reading this and knowing what I know now, is it safe to say that this whole ideology of Hebrew Israelite is given by the Nephilim?
Yes. You're not the Hebrew. The Nephilim call you Hebrew.
So they've
This is a
been,
Nephilim title.
been suckered into
You just
a whole nother practice of strange worship.
a whole new thing. And then when somebody says, yeah, I'm Teddy Bean, huh? They look, what is wrong with you? You don't know no genealogy, so you don't know where the families are. You don't know your family, you don't know where the addresses are. You don't know where the addresses are, you lost, and you don't know your way home. Abraham the Hebrew, but it's Og calling him this. This is Og in the Nephilim name for the Hashemi people. I told you we were coming to this.
So you still being led by those Khazars.
Look, I told you, I says, right after we come up and we get down into Egypt, you're going to figure out who's Hashemi and where the Hebrew come from. Now you see, Abraham comes up out of Egypt the same way the children of Israel come up out of Egypt. And he's now dealing with Og the same way the children of Israel now dealing with Og's descendants. And they calling themselves Hebrew. It's like, we're not Hebrew. We are Hashemi. Oh no, come on, come get this. Come on. I never get comments in the comment section because everybody's hearing it for the first time and they can't believe how it is so detailed and succinct. And that's why I don't have scriptures. I read from the manuscript.
That's why we say code.
Right. This is law code. I know who's talking and from what perspective. Continue, watch this.
Who dwelt in the valleys
So Abraham is dwelling in the valley of Mamre, Amorah. So he's down again, he's here in the Jordan Valley. There's a valley, it's very flat, it's very good for growing food and wine, and it's very long. It comes all the way up. The Kidron Brook comes all the way up. Continue.
brother of Eshcol and brother of Anir, who were men of covenant with Abram.
Okay. So these men were in covenant with Abram.
And when Abram heard that his brother was made captive, he armed his young men who were trained for war.
Wait. So he didn't arm them and they weren't trained.
They were trained.
He trained them and then he armed them for war when it was a reason legitimate for war. What's the problem? No. I don't care what's happened between me and my brother. You have no right to touch him.
I don't care how much we were separated.
I just moved here because of some sheep. We have to feed the food. We need more space. We don't have a conflict.
That's right.
You touch my brother, we have conflict. We make war. And what happened?
Grown up in his house.
So he looked at Lot like a son who grew up in his house. What happened?
But they willed not to go with him. And he chose from them Eleazar.
So they were afraid.
Yes.
No, we're not. So he said, "All right, let's go, Eleazar."
The son of Nimrod, who was equal in strength to all the 318.
Woo! He took one dude. Abraham was full of smoke. If you scared, this is the law. If you scared, go home.
Home. Yes.
Eleazar.
Let's go. Nimrod's son.
One. Greater than 300, take one. Let's go. We going.
And he pursued unto Dan.
Pursued them unto Dan.
And he divided them.
Now you see this Dan, right? So now it's even being called whose land
it belongs.
He pursued them to. So he chased them north into Turkey.
North into Turkey.
Right? The border of Dan border, the borders on Turkey. He pursued them up into Turkey. And where they run to from Turkey? Oh, I know, Ukraine, Khazaria.
And he divided them at night in the way. A part were to engage with the kings, and a part were hidden to smite the firstborn of Egypt.
So now after he does this, he comes back, he divides them and says, listen, you go into war with these kings, and you go your way. Go down to Egypt and hide, because you're going to smite the firstborn of Egypt in exactly this many years. How does he know? The Most High told him.
Right.
I'm going to give this to your children when they come up out of Egypt, and this, and this. Okay, no problem. When you come up, you're going to need to kill these firstborns. On this night. What night? The eve of the Pascha. Same night I'll come with the Nephilim.
Okay, so when he says, and he divided them, who was them,
Now
sir?
the young men armed and trained for war.
Young men.
Now he's already won the first part because he's got this with Eleazar, and then he's like, I'll take this other part, and we separate now because they were afraid.
So there was no type of mystical anything happening.
No,
This was a
this was
setup.
preparation. For how long? I'll make the preparation for this many years, and you swear it will go and it will happen.
And he arose, he and his servants, and smote them, and pursued them which remain of them unto the place of the memorial of sin, which was to be in Dan,
From the north of Darmasek, which is Damascus. So I told you this is north of Damascus. This is above Syria. It goes into Turkey.
So when we read about the night of the firstborns being killed by the angels, it was these young men.
The young men they had
set up then. So is that what you mean when you one time you mentioned about the men being angels? Okay. Gotcha.
When the angel of death passed through, it's the angel of death, but the men is doing the killing under the instructions that's given previously. There is an obedience to the instruction. So I told you it's all preparation. You think, I'll tell you when the Most High move. I'll tell you when the Most High give an instruction to move, that you may receive the benefit thereof. So he pursued them unto Dan, up above Damascus, which is Darmasek, which is above Syria. So he pushed them back up into Turkey. Now the other half that didn't fight in this fight, because they were afraid, no problem, you were afraid. Now you will have to fight in Egypt in this amount of time. In this many years, on this night, you will have to fight. Okay, you're afraid now. Right. And this time, you won't be afraid. You will move like assassins in the night. You see? So we're going to stop here because we know this is getting juicy. We'll come back with this tomorrow. One step at a time, one day at a time.
One.